Hi there. This video is part of the Morewizardsdidit series, which is a MagicGen game, meaning that all of the spells in the game are randomly generated. In this episode, I'm going to be looking through the fire magic spells. Let's take a look at some fire magic, shall we? Start with Conjuration. So I'll go through fire first, and then I'll go through air, because they are the two paths we have most access to as Ubar. The Conjuration, doesn't look like we have much to really pick up in fire, certainly not early on. Level 3, Ritual, called Putrid Pyromancer. This gives us some kind of Pyromancer commander that explodes into a cloud of disease when killed. So a mage for 7 gems, that might be something. It requires fire and death though, I'm not sure if we get that. And then we have an in-combat spell that summons 2 firebirds. Again, I'm not sure if that's going to be much good. The summoned creatures are imbued with magic that distorts its image, so they have mirror image as well. Firebirds are aren't they usually like ritual summons that people take because it gives them luck scales or something? Like Bringer of Fortune or something, right? I'm not sure how useful they're going to be in combat, but I'll look them up, I suppose. Level 4 Ritual, 13 size 1 fire elementals. That might have uses, it might not, I suppose. How many gems is that? 3 fire gems and you get 13 of them. So they're very small, so tiny fire elementals have like 5 hit points, right? So they're not going to be amazingly tanky, but you can think of uses for just large numbers of units that have a fire shield and stuff, right? That's 4. In combat spells, summon curse-bearing flame jellies. Summons 2 of them, costs 1 fire gem. They have a heat aura, but they're vulnerable to physical damage. Anyone killing the summoned creatures will suffer their curse for the rest of their life. Okay. I'm not sure. Again, flame jellies, that sounds like... Oh, can only be cast underwater. Yeah, it sounded like the jellyfish summon. I guess that's what it is. So this is an underwater spell. Maybe we can make use of that if we have to fight Lancers? Who knows? That's interesting though. 6 we have Summon Salamanders. Summons 2 for 8. This is interesting because in this mod, this is also a JBBM game, and I think Salamanders are buffed in JBBM, so I wonder if that means these will be as well. Flame Spirit. Summons a Flame Spirit onto the battlefield. Fire Spirits are potent fire mages, but they will leave after the battle. So this is another fire mage we can summon. Oh, this is an in-combat one though. It's kind of interesting. Would we ever like want to... Precision minus 20 on a summon, what does that mean? I wonder if it can appear somewhere random on the around you. Casting time 62%. So you could cast that quite quickly as well. Yeah. So if we wanted to get up a bunch of additional fire mages, we could do that, and it would happen before turn 2. Just something. Maybe we'll use it. Summon Greater's May. Cool. For only what? 3 fire gems, that's another ritual. Might use that. Fire Dragon. This is an in-combat summon? So we can summon a Fire Dragon in combat for 2 gems, but it requires Fire 6. That would be kind of cool though, it would be cool to draw a bunch of dragons. Maybe that'll have a use, I'm not sure. And then more flame jellies. Alright, so all in all, nothing really stands out as amazing. And tiny fire elementals is kind of cool, I guess, just because there's so many of them, but... Maybe if we reach the point where we can buff them somehow so that they're a bit tankier, I'm not sure. Alteration, let's see. So we start with Combustion, this is nice. It's only range 10, but it's AoE 3. So once things get kind of in range, we can just set fire to stuff. Be nice in our scales. Nothing at 1. 2 gets us Protection from Fire, which is only affects the caster, 10 fire rares, okay. And Greater Resist Fire. Area effect 8. I'm not sure if we're going to need this, because we're going to have so much fire resistance on our units anyway, aren't we? That's there. Level 3, Greater Warp Armor. Caster heats part of the armor of a few enemies, causing it to warp and distort. So this is an armor destroying spell. Cast time 25%, that's quite interesting. So we can cast this 4 times around with AoE 2. And what does that require? Fire 1. Wow. So all of our F1 mages can just wreck armor. That might be quite useful actually. The cast time is a big thing on that, I think. I wonder if there's a better version of it. And then protection from cold. Oh, that's quite nice as well. Oh, this only affects the caster, okay. Even so, I mean, I'm sure it'll be useful. Cold warding, also the caster, grants 15 cold resistance. I guess we didn't need the cold resist bless after all. And then greater combustion, this requires a gem. Area of effect 18, wow. So this is a big combustion. If we wanted to go alteration, it would be quite a nice little damaging spell, I suppose. It does take a gem though. We can always forge jars though. Anything that takes 1 fire gem is basically free once you can forge jars. Improved protection from cold, AoE 9, 200 cast time, 10 cold resist. Sure, I mean it's gonna have its uses, isn't it? Even more combustion, improved 4 gems, improved combustion. Range 40 plus, area of effect 45. Okay, sure, if we really want to set a lot of people on fire, there we go. Fire warding at 7. 15 fire resistance, again just for the caster. And then level 9, improved protection from fire, AoE 25, 10 fire resistance. Lots of fire resistance in here and a bit of cold resistance. I think Greater Warp Armor might be a good one to pick up, just because it's so easy to cast and so easy to spam. If we go up against a nation that has a lot of armor, we should probably keep that one in mind. Evocation next. I have looked a bit at Evocation and it seems like a really nice one for us. So Fireflies, this only has a range of 3, so we're probably not going to use it much, but if someone does get in range of us, this has a cast time of 25% and has 27 effects for 6 points of armor piercing damage. That could shred someone who gets in range. I mean, that's a really, really spammable spell, but most people probably won't get in range. Orb of Flame, AoE 1, big fire damage spell at long range, fine. Greater Fireflies, this looks more interesting. Oh no, this isn't the big one, is it? No, it's improved. Okay. Greater Fireflies still. Range 30, cast time 25, number of effects 6. That's very spammable again, and much longer range. We might get some use out of that. And then Flame Balls. Range 40, AoE 2, another big kind of fireball type spell. Also seems pretty good. These are all pretty much the same thing. Here's improved Fireflies. 35 range, number of effects 50. Casting time 100%. Although I wonder if this one is better actually, just because of the cast time. Depends how much fatigue you have to spare, I suppose. It's very funny. Falling Fires is a pretty good one as well. Cast time 200% unfortunately, but it's AoE 12. And it also does Weight of the Earth, which I think is going to be Curse of Stones, I'm not sure. I think that's the secondary effect there. So this is another fun one to spam just because it's a big AoE and it also has a debuff. It's quite a bit of damage too. Acid Bolts, I don't think we'll be able to cast this because of the water requirement, but AoE 2 damage spell. There's acid damage and rust. Sure. Flame Cloud next requires Fire on Earth. We could also do this one. Doesn't seem too impressive, but it's 50% cast time, lingers for 3 turns. Also seems to do Curse of Stones. That's fine. A lot of these effects are all pretty similar, of course. Fire Orbs. Another big damage kind of heat shock spell. One's AoE 11, doesn't scale. Again, they all seem pretty similar, it's all kind of just more or less the same thing. Was that Fire Orbs? Yep. And Acid Storm. This just requires fire. Requires fire 6 and 4 fire gems. The whole battlefield is showered in highly corrosive fluids. Every 320 ticks, or 23 times around, 3% of the battlefield is struck for 3 AP acid damage. I'm pretty sure that's just the same as the normal Acid Storm spell, right? Because it's a battle enchantment, you can't mod those. Yeah. Maybe you can use that, I'm not sure. Level 6, Pillar of Flame. Looks pretty similar to the normal Pillar of Flame. That is a big heat shock. AoE 32 fatigue damage. Wow. Is this spammable? Casting time 100%. Requires 5-3, doesn't need a gem or anything. Yeah, we could spam that. That'll do a ton of fatigue in battles. Fires from afar. I think this is... That looks pretty good actually. Okay, that's a lot of yellow text. it's a ranged attack ritual, sure. Drop some fire on people. Let's see. Level 7 Banefire Ball. Is this just like fireball with decay? Looks like it. Anything special about this? Just armor piercing magic damage, very low fatigue cost, AoE 1, long range, and then it also does decay. It's pretty nice, I suppose. I don't know if we have a lot of fire death mages though. More acid rain. Can't really use that much. That is an AoE 29, 43% cast time spell. That's very strange. Yeah, you could hammer people with that spell though, couldn't you? 14 armor piercing damage. If we go up against someone who has like very little armor, this would just shred them, wouldn't it? I'll have to see if we can get water on any of our fire guys. I don't think so. I think it's all fire, air, earth and astral, right? Greater fires from far. Same sort of thing. Improved acid bolts. AoE 16, 50 range. Lots of acid spam. Improved acid rain. So this is... The entire battlefield takes 6 acid damage and then also rust. Pretty cool. Greater Flame Cloud. Casting time 10%. What? So you could drop 10 Flame Clouds onto the battlefield per turn. And they have 11 AoE. That's pretty brutal. Wow. What about Pillar of Flame? Jesus. So this is... Requires 3 gems, does 58 damage AoE 1, but then does a 74 damage 74 AoE 20 fatigue damage shock. That's a pretty big fatigue. Maybe we can stack fatigue effects somehow, that'd be quite nice. And then a final big fires from afar. Sure. 30 damage, that's pretty good. Alright, so there's Evocation. I think there's some good stuff in there, especially early on if we can just quickly pick them up. And then some of the... I mean, Greater Fireflies might just be good to pick up quick just because it's got a 25% cast time. Probably spam that quite a bit. And then this one has like the 50 effects, that's like a nice little upgrade. Yeah. So we get Greater just to give us something to do early on, and then get the improved one for the upgraded version. Be pretty good. Construction. Nothing fire in construction. Okay. Enchantment. Did we do? We did all Evo. Yeah, enchantment. Okay. So I know that there's flaming arrows in here. This is just an AoE 1 version, and then there's another one at level 1 which is an AoE 8 one. That's pretty nice. You can give lots of our guys flaming arrows from very early on. Heat of Summer. So if you... This looks like it only affects the caster, but it gives you a heat aura and fire resistance. Not hugely useful for us, I don't think. Resist cold. 5 cold resistance, AoE 8. Not bad, but it's a very long cast time. And resist fire. 5 fire resistance, AoE 4. Okay. There's still lots of fire and cold resist in here, even in enchantment. Fire shield. Just for the caster, okay. Pretty standard fire shield. Improved flaming arrows, AoE 8. Is that... What's the difference between... Oh, cast time. This only has 100% cast time. Is it cheaper as well? Yeah, so it's less fatigue. AoE 8. Okay. Greater fire shield then. This is AoE 1, so we can cast this on people. 200% cast time though. Not amazing. Be nice to put that on the ghoul guys we can recruit, I suppose. The National Flaming Arrows. This one is probably not going to be useful. It's just a lingering effect, which I can't imagine is great on ranged units, since they won't move through it. And then Greater Protection from Cold, just for the caster. Then Cold Resist. Only 50% cast time though, that's nice. We can get a self buff off before stuff goes off on turn 1. Phoenix Power requires 1 gem, area of effect 15. That's pretty cool. So we could give all of our mages Phoenix Power from 1 caster, who just drops an AoE version of it. In theory. Hopefully they aim it correctly. Greater Heat of Summer, AoE 1, Heat Aura and Fire Resistance. Nice. Be nice if it was a bigger AoE. Bath of Flames. This is just Bath of Flames, right? It's just the... Yeah. But it only costs 5 fire gems and takes F3 to cast. That's pretty cool. We just put that around all of our forts. if an army ever gets near it, that'd be really easy for us to cast. And then... Wow. Oh, that's so expensive though. So for 3 fire gems we can give Phoenix power to the whole battlefield. That doesn't affect enemies. Probably more efficient to just use this other one. And just hope that we can group all our mages together, to be honest. Summons Mate. That's interesting that this is... Is this in battle? Oh, it's an in-battle spell, okay. You can summon as Mate. This costs no gems. So any F4 can just summon this. It's pretty interesting, I suppose. Greater Phoenix power. So this is just an easier to cast version? Yeah, so this just requires F2 and 2 gems. That's probably the one we'll cast eventually if we get all this way up Enchantment. And then Greater Protection from Fire. AoE 18, 10 fire resistance. Improved Phoenix... Another Phoenix power? What is this? This is also just even fewer gems. So an F3 can do it the entire battlefield. Casting time 20%, wow. So that'll go off pretty much immediately. And then Advanced Protection from Fire. Requires an F4 but doesn't require gems. Only has 45 fatigue. Has a casting time of 10% and an AoE of 9. So we could spam that quite a bit, I suppose, if we really need 10 fire resistance. But the problem is I don't think we are going to need any fire resistance. And then finally Thaumaturgy. What we've got in here. Fetters of Fire. Range 30, 1 person, 100%. Pretty standard fetters. Chains of Fire. Much longer range, looks like. Same sort of stuff. Augury. Same as usual Augury. Greater Rage. Casting time 50%. Heat makes one enemy angry. Cool. Sure if we'll use that, but maybe. Prison of Fire. Range 35, area effect 24. So lots of fetters. And then Greater Prison of Fire. Range 40, AoE 40. Yeah, same sort of stuff. Purgatory. Looks like the same gem cost as usual. Are there any nations in this game that use a lot of undead? Why am I looking? It's not like I know what any of these nations do still. Mass Fever then. I don't think we can cast this. I don't think we have any Fire Nature, do we? But the caster afflicts everyone on the battlefield with a deadly fever. This gives everyone in the battle disease, including allies. But that sounds bad. Then again, I suppose if we could just hit an army with just a mage, just flies in and casts that and then dips, that would be pretty funny. And then Mass Enrage. The caster makes all of his enemies angry. This spell should cause massive infighting amongst the caster's enemies. Its magic resistance negates easily though, so maybe not. It's pretty cool though. And then anything in blood that uses fire? No. Alright then, so there's the fire spells. Some interesting stuff. I do think our research targets are fine for now though. I think Enchantment 2 to pick up the flaming arrows, and then Evocation to get some fireflies. And then we'll go from there, I think, in terms of fire spells. Anyway, that's the first video looking through the spellbook. Next one will be Air. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in whichever video you choose to watch next.